Hi, I'm Alicia Mowry, President-elect at the Ohio School Public Relations Association and the Public Information Officer at the Delaware Area Career Center. And we are thrilled to be back with another Meet Our Members Spotlight. And today we're here with Ellen Messenger from Tri-Rivers Career Center. She is the Director of Communications there. So welcome, Ellen.
Thank you. Glad to be with you.
Thanks for joining us. I know you're super busy. You have to straddle not only the COVID messaging and the public relations part of just communicating with your community, but as a career center, you're also communicating with students who are considering coming to the career center next year.
Right. We're also in the recruiting mode as well.
Yes, absolutely. And I know all of the career centers have had to sort of pivot, and something that's normally done in person is now all done virtually. So how is that going for you so far?
It's going well. We've done mostly hybrid. We did a few days of remote just to kind of get ourselves together, and we were full just a little bit, but the hybrid seems to be the best for us because the students have to be in school. I mean, we're a career center, and we've talked to our students, and the every other day works okay, so they can be in lab, but being full remote just doesn't work for a career center.
Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about what kinds of things are they doing, for our members who are maybe in a K-12 school. What is so important about being there in person and having that kind of hands-on education?
Being there in person, I know one of our instructors, Brent Jakowski, he did a thing where he asked students what they're thankful for. And as I read through all of them, every time they talked, they said, "I'm glad I'm back in school." And hands-on kids just need that connection because being in the lab is actually, it's their family. And then sometimes it's more than just about education, it's their support system as well. So we try to have our counselors available. They can go online, they can talk to them, but there's a lot more issues of things like that as well. But I know our kids, they welcome it because they can't learn a skill, they can't get a certificate, a certification, unless they're actually in the classroom. So I think that's maybe a little bit different, but I think all kids actually do better in the classroom.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, we're a career tech as well. So we see the same thing that, our students really enjoy being in the lab. They have to have that equipment. They have to have that experience. And there's only so much that you can do virtually and remotely. So we're hoping to have a blend as well to keep our kids in here as much as possible, but also keep them home and safe where they can do some of that remotely.
Right.
So Ellen, you were one of the first people, probably the first person I met when I started working in school PR so many years ago. And you were just a wealth of information for me, and you had so much good advice for me. How long have you been working in school PR?
I'm actually in my 31st year, so I'm old. But the truth is that I thought I would stay 5 years because I thought I was just in this movement of growing and going places and things. And when I got into career tech, I realized I fell in love with it, every element of it. I got involved at the state level, the regional level, but more than that, I saw what it did for students, and it was ever changing. It wasn't static. You're working with advisory committees. You're always on the cutting edge of everything. So I found it not just to be, for me, not just a career or a job, but definitely to be a mission. And I live in a community where I see these kids. So every time I go out, I see these students in the healthcare field. I see them when I get my car repaired. And what they say about Tri-Rivers, I'll be honest, it warms my heart because I know that we made a difference. And I know the instructors and every person in the building. So when our instructors are a little bit, what do you want to call it? Stressed right now, I think we all turn back and we say we're making such a huge difference in these students' lives that we have to keep doing the right things and doing the best we can.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's hard not to fall in love with when you see what happens behind these doors and see what kids can do here.
Absolutely.
And so, Ellen, I know you over the years have been really involved with OHSPRA, and you're really involved with career tech. Why do you think it's important that our K-12 schools and our career tech schools work together and stay in constant communication with each other?
Well, I think what comes down to it, all want the same thing. We want the students to be successful. And we find that we work, well, I think our first line is our counselors. We have super good relationships with our associate school counselors. But anymore, when we come together and we're talking, we're not talking about whether it's career tech or whether it's regular high school, either we're just talking about what's best for students. And I think we all know data shows at least 40% should be in career tech. And our associate schools work with their students to make sure that happens too. I can't imagine not having a good relationship with them, because we meet 3 or 4 times a year with middle school counselors, high school counselors, principals. We're texting them. We're making sure that we're talking about the student. So it's not about the success of a building or a facility. It's really truly has become about the success of the students, which I think is where it should be. It wasn't always that way. Can I say that?
Yes.
I think there's a time when people were kind of territorial, and I think that's disappeared, not just with K through 12 and career tech, but also with community colleges.
Mm-hmm.
We've all started to tear down those silos, work together, and really work about what's about students and create more of educational corridors, which I think is super important, that we do work together, because in the end, if the students are successful, then we're all successful.
Absolutely. And if we're all working together, then the students can be more successful. I mean, we're all stronger for those partnerships and able to offer more things to our community and to our students.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Ellen, I was the recipient of so much good advice and so much good information from you. What advice do you have for our OHSPRA members right now?
Well, we're in a different time, let's just say. I guess what I would say is you have to have a lot of flexibility and a lot of grace. Flexibility in, well, I also think you have to look for the good right now. There has been so much good come out of what we're doing now. We wouldn't have had a virtual video if we hadn't been going through a pandemic, because I always thought, oh, those are really expensive. Well, now it's kind of the centerpiece of our recruiting, so we had to do it. But then we purchased swivels through a grant. And our instructors have upped their game with technology. They're using Canvas. They're incorporating it, whether the students are home or whether they're here. So I think it upped their game in technology. So I think that's real important. And the flexibility, well, when we've had a lot of instructors out, because we've had a lot of quarantines, if you look at our data, and when we've had instructors out and things, everyone's stepping in and subbing for each other. So I think it's created just a really good atmosphere, and the students that were making comments said that they felt safe here. They felt like the instructors were looking out for them and that they want to come to school. And I mean, there's not much more you can ask that's better than that. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, good. I'm glad that things are going well for you, and that you, as always, have remained flexible and strong and passionate about career technical education. So I appreciate the time that you spent with us today, and I will let you get back to your busy workload. And thank you again. I appreciate it.
what I'll say is that I love career tech as much today as I did when I started 31 years ago. So
Absolutely.
you're doing the right things. And thank you, Alicia. You do a great job.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.